What is up, y'all? This is episode 34, I believe. It is 34. I'm seeing it on my screen right now. Of Two Jersey Kids. This is a video game podcast. Shocking! We release episodes every Tuesday and Friday. The Tuesday episode, we go through a topic, or we normally go through the games that come out this week, but this past Tuesday was kind of special. I did a one-on-one interview with Ivan Kaltzman, talking about how video games can be important in the educational space. It was a very educational and informative interview, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. This is the Friday episode where we go through all the news that's been going on in the video game industry. Remember, you can follow the podcast on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids, and thank you so much if you're a continued listener. We appreciate you and love you so much. So now let's get into it. My name is Adam Buckingham. I am the host of this evening, if you didn't know already, and I am happily joined by my best friend, the best stick handler in the business, Gary Seisel. How you doing today, Gary?
Excelente. Good to be here.
What have you been up to?
Well, gaming-wise, it's been kind of a slow week. I've been playing a mixture of Battlefield 1 and Destiny, as always, so it's kind of been run-of-the-mill. I've done a little bit of I've been on a crazy quest to get the Icebreaker exotic sniper rifle on Destiny, because it's the only... there's a reason for it. It's because they completely nerfed special weapon ammo in that game. So the Icebreaker, for people that aren't familiar, regenerates its own ammo. You don't actually have to run around and pick up special ammo crates.
Oh, because you're a lazy bastard, that's why.
No, it's seriously that important. You have no idea. So I've been on a crazy quest to get it. Needless to say, haven't gotten it because that's my luck.
Do you have to go through a raid or something to get it?
No, you have to run. They're called Nightfall Strikes. You basically run... it's one per character each week. So if you have three characters, you can run it 3 times.
That's gross.
Yeah, you run it for a chance to get Icebreaker,
that's
which of course...
gross.
Yeah.
You are succumbed to this, Gary? It has you bending to your will? That you're trying to do? Yeah, the grind for it once a week. You're sitting there waiting for the clock to tick down to where you can finally play it again.
No, that's actually ridiculous. But I do look forward to actually trying to get a chance at this. It's been 3 weeks now, and I've failed every time.
What is the drop rate on that sniper? Do you know?
No clue. I can't be that big of a chance. Although the first time I actually ran it with my friend Ben, I think he got it like immediately.
Lucky
but of course,
motherfucker.
not me.
Yeah.
So
that reminds me of like drop rates in like WoW, when I would look up the stats of like what armor I kind of needed and what instances we needed to go through to collect it. It was pretty. It's definitely, when you see like the legendary armor, it's a possibility, but the drop rate is like 0.02%. It's insane.
It's terrible. But anyway, that's pretty boring in my neck of the woods. What's been up with you here?
What has been up with me? A lot's been going on, honestly, that I was not expecting this week, shockingly enough. But originally, I was just going to talk about me playing The Order. I actually got The Order, months ago for like $5. Basically, it was on sale for PlayStation Plus. It may have been a little more than $5. I think it could have been like 8 or 9, maybe 10. But here's the thing. I know a lot of people going into The Order. I've heard a lot of like grief against it. A lot of people didn't like it because it was like a $60 game. It just looked beautiful. The story was rather short. It didn't feel like it had a conclusive ending, I guess you could say. But me coming into the game only spending like $9 on it, I thought for that price it was so worth it. I thought it was really good for the price. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm sucking on, Sony first parties, dicks all the time here. But for the price, price changes everything, your opinion on a game. If you're only spending like $10 and you get 7 to 8 hour story with a beautiful looking game, the story, there could have been more to it. It had some kind of boring, I guess, quick time events, but I really like the story and the atmosphere of setting. I think they deserved another shot, or Ready Dawn deserves another shot at creating the Order 1886, I guess it would go. But the game this engine that they running, the game looks beautiful. At some points during the game, I thought the cutscene was continuing, and then I realized it was actually I actually had to play, and I was in cover with like people coming at us. It's freaking nuts how beautiful this game was, or game is.
I remember actually being really looking forward to this game back in the day, and obviously the reviews that I saw that were basically, I guess, negative, but also I don't know if they were necessarily completely negative, but kind of mediocre in terms of ratings. I guess that steered me away from the game. But I mean, given that price, I don't think you can possibly go wrong. I mean, you saw the same thing with No Man's Sky, where a lot of people killed that game for being $60 because of all the, quote unquote, missing content from the game. But when it got lowered later on, people were, actually generally positive on it.
Yeah, it all depends. Price point is a huge thing, and I think the $60 price point for a 7-hour game, I can understand why that's a little pricey. But right now, I think on the PlayStation Store, it is like $19.99, which I still suggest. Paying $20 to get a pretty beautiful looking game, solid. It's not like an extraordinary story. It's not like Uncharted or Horizon when it comes to story, but it is a cohesive story and has some intrigue to it. It definitely leaves you on like a plot or like a cliffhanger, I guess, of what would continue. So it kind of leaves it to be desired of creating the next game, the sequel to it. So I look forward to that, especially because all you people out there, if you don't have too much time to play games, sometimes you don't, like especially during the week, this game to complete, if you're not collecting anything, or even if you're going around and collecting things, when I looked at how long it takes to beat this, like that site, because I always look at the games to see how long it'll roughly take, to see if I have the time to put into it. It was only, if you're just going straight through the story, it takes 7 hours. If you're trying to collect everything, it could take upwards of 10 hours, which is it's not a huge time sink. And I feel like the story goes by rather rapidly. It was a little weird with the pacing of the chapters, because some chapters were maybe like 2 cutscenes long, and you didn't play anything in the chapter, but that was considered a chapter. I don't know if they tried to do that, so it extended, I guess the length of the chapter, I guess. It's like a book that has like chapters that are only like 3 pages long. You're like, why did they even include this? But
I used to love that, by the way, back in the day.
It made you feel accomplished.
Yeah, exactly.
James Patterson, those books, the chapters he has like 100 and some chapters. The chapters are like 5 pages long. Fucking fantastic. Other than that, what was interesting that happened to me this week is that previous weeks I got a little, I guess, not testy. I called Greg Miller out. If you're familiar with Kinda Funny, he was a former IGN employee. He branched off and he started his own, I guess, video game nerd culture company called Kinda Funny with a few other people. So I sort of called him out to play Mario Kart Double Dash, because they have this thing over there called the Nintendo World Championship belt that they have. And like they just play Nintendo games, and whoever wins gets it. I just happened to just call him out, saying that they need to stop playing these baby Switch games and play Mario Kart Double Dash. Well, they're having an event next Friday on the 28th for Mario Kart 8 that comes out on the Switch, and he did like a fucking 90s wrestling promo he called me I guess a well-known, I guess, fan of Kinda Funny called Zyger, and another person that called him out on Twitter, Average Josh. He did that. He called basically us 3 out, and then called out the rest of the Kinda Funny community. This is fucking nuts. Him mentioning my name and tweeting at me. Fucking have so many notifications up the wazoo. I'm so baffled by. So I'm stuck in this flabbergasted state. Is like, I don't want to. Here's the thing. I want to buy a Switch so I can kick his ass. That's what I want to do. But here's the thing that I eloquently put in my video response, is that he's so smart. He's lucky enough he gets to have Mario Kart 8, the deluxe edition, ahead of time, because he has, like, quote-unquote review copies. And if I took part of this, I would have to buy Mario Kart 8 when it came out, like, Thursday at midnight, and then practice the next day for, like, 5 hours to finally get used to it. I know it's just a normal Mario Kart game, so what's new? So hopefully I would get into the swing of things so I can finally play him and hopefully not make a fool of myself.
Dude, it's like, when I saw this happening, I was like, yep, that's Adam. That's something that happens.
Why,
amazing.
You jealous?
No, I'm actually pretty pumped for you. It's pretty awesome, regardless. Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling Gary before the podcast, I had this ultimate dream is that I do so well that I can challenge Greg to a one-on-one match, me versus him, and we put up stakes where if I win or if I lose, I'll like donate a decent amount to charity, whatever I can actually put up. And then if he loses, which that's up in the air, but if he loses, I would want him to come on our podcast, Two Jersey Kids.
Yeah.
That's my dream. That's a pipe dream. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but we'll see. But other than that, that has been my jam-packed week. I thought I was just going to talk about the order. Little did I know that Greg Miller was going to call me out in a fucking belly shirt. Fucking crazy-ass motherfucker that he is.
Yeah, at first I saw the tweet, and I'm like, oh, shit, he called you out. And then I saw the video, like, a few minutes later. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, like, this guy goes hard, dude.
He does.
He roasts everybody. It was hilarious.
He's great.
Hilarious.
He's really good when it comes to the promo game. I'm still trying to get up on that level when it comes to promo. I didn't realize Twitter had, like, a max video length, because I had a pretty decently long, like, 4-minute video where I was ranting and raving. I think I was pretty intense coming back at him. I'm obviously not on that level of production and probably multiple takes that he had to do. And also probably took him like a good 30 minutes to get into that fucking kid's shirt that he was wearing. Oh, man, I want to kick his ass! All right. Back to the show. We're already 11 and a half minutes in, so it's time for This Week in Gaming. Brought to you by Gatorade. But not really. Gary hates me whenever I do this, but I'm going to keep doing it because I know he hates it.
I will say it wasn't as obnoxious as usual, but yeah, you're still pissing me off. Okay. Going in to This Week in Gaming, we're actually going to start off on sort of a somber note. Sorry, everybody, but I like history, so today, we're recording this on 420, and besides it being a weed-smoking holiday, it's also the anniversary of the Columbine school shootings that happened back in 1999. So, in This Week in Gaming, Super Columbine...
1999?
Yeah.
Man, that feels like... It feels like yesterday that it happened, but then you'd realize, looking back, now it's like really far away, and I was pretty young at that time, so I guess it didn't quite click everything that was going on.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. Well, I want to get into the actual game. So someone actually created a game out there, which I find despicable, called Super Columbine Massacre, and it was an RPG basically that simulated and I guess recreated the events that happened back in that day. Anyway, it released back in 2005 on Windows, and besides the fact that this game is obviously created for the shock value, and like you create something like this, obviously people are going to check it out because it's so controversial.
Before you get into the actual like history, I guess involved in like what you discussed in, I think it says in the show notes, or you discussed in your humanitarian class.
Yes, sir.
I just have to say, I fucking hate when people try to make games just for fucking shock value, where you have like these murderers going around killing people just because. There was a game on Steam a while ago that did that. I fucking hate it. Like, you're putting little to no effort, and two, you're just trying to make publicity, whether it's good or bad, and you're putting a bad, I guess, stereotype or stigma that the previous generation already has on video games, and you're just further bolstering that idea that video games influence violence and encourages kids to shoot up schools or shoot up their friends. I fucking hate it. It gets me fired up.
Well, this has happened for other historical events as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar or if anyone else is, but they also did. There's also a game out there that I guess recreates the JFK assassination. You take the role of Lee Harvey Oswald and you basically kill JFK. So yeah, there's no limit to the depravity, I guess would be the word, of certain people. So anyway, I picked this game because I thought it was interesting. I have like kind of an interest in this because back in the day in high school, I took part in a humanitarian or humanities class, and we basically studied school violence for like I guess a few months, and this was one of the things we studied. So I just I had an interest in this thing, and I just wanted to include it for the historical I guess value. But anyway, going to more of a positive note.
Yeah.
On this, I guess, I guess during this week. Portal 2 was released in 2011 on the PS3 and Xbox 360. For people that aren't familiar, like myself, actually, this was a first-person puzzle platformer. Neither Adam, I couldn't believe that actually, Adam, that you haven't played this game. I always, for some reason, I felt like you had.
It's on my wall of shame. I know Portal 2 is, I think they introduced actually co-op puzzle aspects to this game. It continued on the amazing success that was Portal, that came in the orange box, which no one really thought of when it was coming out. They were like, what the fuck is this game? And it like blew up as a fantastic puzzle game, and Portal 2 continued on that. It was only released in 2011? Shit. That seems like it's close, but it's not anymore, which is kind of sad.
I hate it. I always think back. I was coincidentally listening to I was listening to Drake music before you officially started the podcast. And last night I was listening to some old Drake songs, and I'm like, that song was released in 2010, not that long ago. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That was 7 years ago. It's so terrible.
We were in high school. Man, we're young. Don't listen to our high-pitched millennial voices. Moving on to the actual... You excited, Gary, to get into these topics? I know you're excited about these first two. I know you're pumped about them. Yes, I am. But we're starting it off. Ian Hignett over at Eurogamer writes, Star Wars Battlefront II features a single-player campaign that picks up right at the end of the Return of the Jedi. It will take place in the 30-year gap between the destruction of the Death Star and the events of The Force Awakens. Canon to the films, the majority of the story is told from the perspective of Eden Versio, the leader of an elite special forces unit of the Galactic Empire named the Inferno Squadron. Eden and her team are a hybrid of fighter pilot and commando, as lethal on the ground as they are in a vehicle, and well-versed in all the Empire's tech and gadgets. Eden also has her very own droid buddy who attaches to the back of her armor and will serve as part of the moment-to-moment gameplay experience. Eden will allow fans to experience Star Wars from a brand new perspective, that of a heroic figurehead for the Empire. Never described in the game as a villain, Eden's main motivation for attacking the rebels is to avenge the death of the Emperor. At certain points in the story, there will be opportunities to become hero characters, some of which will allow players to experience the events from the side of the rebellion. In one mission teased in the new trailer, players will be able to control Luke Skywalker in his familiar Return of the Jedi outfit. Along with the new campaign comes a brand new planet, Vardos, an imperial utopia created specifically for Battlefront 2, where children of the Empire grow up in peace and aspire to be elite soldiers like Eden. As the leaked teaser trailer suggested, space battles are confirmed for multiplayer and are being handled by Criterion, the team behind Battlefront's Rogue One VR mission. Woo! The multiplayer will span the entire Star Wars universe as we know it today. That means players will have access to weapons, ships, gadgets, from the prequel, original, and new Star Wars trilogies. It will not feature content from the recent spin-off movie Rogue One or the animated series Star Wars Rebels. 4 trooper classes have been introduced for Battlefront 2, each with its own customization and progression system, plus a number of cosmetic character types, the Rebel Fighter, Imperial Officer, Stormtrooper, Federation Droid. The classes are based on relatively conventional differentiating factors, like the range or firepower. They also go farther in, talking about the swath of new characters like Darth Maul, Rey, Luke Skywalker, Yoda, Kylo Ren. And apparently, he continues writing that in a major gameplay change, these hero characters will now have their own career paths, allowing players to unlock new abilities for the heroes and tailor them to their playstyle. So, Gary, does that get you pumped?
Actually,
I was going to say something vulgar, but I decided to hold it back.
We all appreciate it. I like the direction, personally, that they're taking with the story. I'm just hoping, I know this is like all hypothetical, and it really isn't based on anything, like any facts that I gathered, but I just hope that the story, even though it's kind of like about a dark side character, I hope it doesn't get like really cheesy, I guess. Like I hope what I mean is I hope that your character, like it's consistent. Like obviously your character's out to avenge the Emperor. I hope that like that character that you're playing as, believes in what they're doing, like stays the course, and it isn't like one of these games where like, all of a sudden, towards the end, you're like, oh no, I'm on the wrong side. It's time for me to go back to the light side now, and you go on this crazy mission to undo everything. I don't want that. I want want a good story, even if it's about a dark side character. But
I understand with what you saying with the cheesy part, but I'm interested to see if they actually. I don't want to say coincide with what they're trying to do with the next episode that's coming out, episode 8. But I wonder if towards the end she won't be completely on the quote-unquote dark side, because the episode 8, it seems like it's all about finding the balance of the force, whether it's the light and the dark. You need both to coincide, and you don't need to be specifically the light side, and you don't need to be specifically the dark side, because both sides sort of bring together each side. You need to be in the middle, and that's the only way you'll end the dark, I guess the quote-unquote dark side, the bad side. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll touch on that towards the end of the mission, where she is, I guess, trying to find the balance of doing the right, quote-unquote, right thing in her mind. But I can see how that could, if they don't play it right, it could become a little cheesy, like, oh, I've seen the light now, let me take out this bad person on the Empire side.
I really hope that doesn't happen. I just hope it's like, I just want it to be like realistic, in the sense that, like, they're Imperial officers doesn't necessarily mean that they're terrible people, I mean, granted, in like The Force Awakens, for example, they're murdering a whole village of innocents. That's different. But like, I hope in this case, she's out to avenge the Emperor, and she's obviously fighting the rebellion. It'd be interesting to see that take on the story.
And I'm kind of interested to see why she is so fired up about them killing the Emperor. I'm wondering if maybe if she thinks that the Emperor is like a god figure, and they're just upset over that, and like, I want to see how they touch into why they are so upset, and what strife do they have to go through. And I'm fascinated to see the in-between from episode 6 to episode 7. I'm always I want to know how the Empire became, what is it, the First Order? The
First Order, yep.
And then the Rebellion became the Resistance. That's what, right?
Yep, you're correct.
I'm just curious how those names changed, honestly.
Yeah.
Like how it shifted. Maybe that's why it became the First Order, is that these specialty officers ended up moving higher in the ranks, because they were doing crazy things that only the stormtroopers, I guess, saw Vader do. Like, they were doing impossible missions, and maybe they started having more clout with the Empire, and they started getting in higher positions and able to run, I guess, the Empire in that fashion. Maybe that's the route they take. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's kind of like the video game version of Rogue One that takes place. I guess that's before the fourth episode, but regardless, I mean, it's kind of like another story before, another trilogy. It's gonna be interesting.
And it's kind of a story that you want to be told. Like, you didn't need to be told what happened in the prequels.
Yeah.
I saw in the article that mentioned Star Wars Rebels, and that Darth Maul is coming back. Did you know in Star Wars Rebels, which is canon, Darth Maul does come back?
Yeah, I heard about that too. I mean, I don't know how that happens. But.
It's the in-between it does the in-between from episode 3 to 4, which is kind of cool that they're now doing the in-between of that. And apparently he was pretty badass in the latest Star Wars season, so maybe I should watch it and, rep Darth Maul because he's the man. But this continues with Battlefront 2 over at Video Game 24/7. Sharif Saeed wrote that there were some leaks when it comes to the Battlefront 2 multiplayer. He writes, is it he or she? He or she. When DICE revealed Star Wars Battlefront 2 over the weekend, the focus was on the single player and the story of Eden Versio, the Special Forces commander we'll be playing. Some multiplayer details escaped a behind-closed-door session held at Star Wars Celebration, though there weren't many until now. In Wesley's video above, he goes through an exhaustive list of topics discussed by DICE at the reveal, and how they compare to what we had in the first game. The number of new mechanics and returning but changed one, it big. What the fuck? But a few are worth highlighting. In the 2015 game, vehicles and heroes were only available through pickups scattered around the map. This system is gone. And although DICE didn't quite explain what will be replacing it, it is confirmed that you'll be able to spawn into vehicles the same way you do in Battlefield 1. The same goes for heroes. Additionally, you won't be able to land or take off. Some items will still be available as pickups. However, such however, such as a smart rocket. One of the criticisms the original faced has to do with the lack of depth in combat, making the game very easy to play and providing little challenge later on. This time around, combat will be more demanding. For instance, going ADS will grant you more accuracy over hip firing. Blasters will be more difficult to master too. Overall, the gameplay should be akin to what you'd see in a Battlefield game, but remain approachable. Destruction isn't happening, unfortunately. Despite fans calling for it, the partner/buddy system from the first is gone as well, but something else has replaced it, which DICE will reveal soon. Customization and progression are two big areas that were lacking in the first game, and DICE will correct this in a big way. All trooper classes, heroes, and even ships will have their own progression paths. Ah, Jesus, there's a pop-up. Oh, goodness. And you'll be able to rank them up separately. Cosmetic customizations will be a part of Battlefront 2, but some items will have gameplay benefits. DICE did not share much more. Gary, does that get you excited as well?
Even more excited, actually, than the story is this. So,
really?
One thing, yes, because, the one thing I really want out of Battlefront, I really hope it becomes less casual. Funny enough, that's in the title of this article. I would like to see it become more like skill-based. I like playing games where I improve and I know that I'm playing better than somebody else. I like testing myself like that. I also like the idea that they're going with more of like a Battlefield 1 progression style where you have like certain classes of soldiers that you can choose and you can level up that specific soldier, maybe unlock weapons, unlock equipment. Even unlock, I don't know, weapon skins. I don't know if they're going to do that in this game in particular, but just an idea. I really hope that this game pans out. I mean, it's one of these games I feel like that we're all just going to have to pick up and play. I think the gameplay itself is going to kind of determine whether or not this game succeeds. I mean, the story might be good and all, but let's not forget, multiplayer is a big part in the longevity of this game. I mean, if the multiplayer is bad, I feel like nothing's really going to happen. You're going to play the single player or maybe not even buy the game at all. So I'm looking forward to it. I just hope that their changes to multiplayer really are well thought out and they pan out in the end, because I want a good Star Wars game, damn it.
I know that was one of the, I guess, big criticisms, but also the selling point of some people. Some people weren't a fan of how casual it was and how easy it was, but some people really loved that portion, that they felt like they could do something because it was so simplistic. So I'm kind of interested to see how they try to balance that. You have something to say? Yeah,
to that point, actually, I think that you can make a game easy to pick up. I think it's like Battlefield 1, for example, like, because it's kind of like a similar game, because obviously it's made by the same company. It's like Battlefield 1 is easy to pick up and play, but it's hard to master. That's the kind of game I like. Like, you can pick it up and play, you can learn it quickly, but it's hard to really like get a handle of and get good at. And that's what I'm hoping that this game does. Like, I hope that it allows people that really aren't as serious about video games to play. And maybe be successful in certain ways, like whether it's destroying vehicles or whatever. Yeah. You have something to say?
I think what I can equate this to in my brain is that I hope they do a jump from, but it would be the opposite direction. I was going to say Halo 2 to Halo 3 when it came to online. How Halo 2 was so ridiculously difficult, it seemed, when getting into the game. If you were a new casual player, you probably get honestly destroyed when it came to Halo.
That was me.
Halo 2 online. But Halo 3, it was more inviting and it was easier to play and is kind of easier to pick up and get pretty good at. It was difficult to master still, but it still it had that nice balance of getting people in when it comes to those games. So I'm excited to see if they make it a little more challenging for people, and it leaves, like what you said, the ability of, or the longevity of the game with a very deep multiplayer. I'm stuttering a lot right now for some reason, and I'm not sure why. Sometimes my mind runs a mile a minute when I talk, and especially when I'm trying to get a point out, but I just can't quite eloquently put it. I just start going, I'm trying to say something.
You're good at it.
I'm Gucci.
We all love you.
Yeah, I know. You all love my stuttering nature. That's why you're here. Yay! Two Jersey Kids. Follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. Remember, rate us. We're awesome!
Well done.
Do you have anything to say before we move on? Do you have anything more you want to say from Battlefield 2? Battlefront 2?
I mean, I really couldn't agree with more what you just said. I hope that obviously the single player pans out. I'm really excited about that portion of the game, given what we've recently learned, and I really hope that the multiplayer just lives up to the potential that it has. I mean, it could be very good. I mean, this could be a great Star Wars game, and I just hope that they get it right this time, and it's something I can play, more than just 3 hours and not get tired of. So that's what I'm hoping for.
I did want to mention, it just popped in my head while you're saying that, I am happy that they're getting rid of the stupid pop-ups, or like the pickups when you pick it up and then go into the vehicle, or pick it up and become a hero. Like, I don't want that. I want like the best player deserving the hero role, and I want the people that I think want to get into a vehicle to actually specifically spawn in it or like run to it like they want it, versus them, because I remember playing the beta of that game and I would randomly run over something because I didn't know what it was. Then I would hop into a vehicle. I'm like, I don't want to be in this.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I guess we shall move on. Over at PC Gamer, they write more. Well, Tyler Wide writes, more people watch gaming videos and streams than HBO, Netflix, ESPN, and Hulu combined. A lot of people watch other people play games. According to industry researchers at Superdata, the, quote, worldwide gaming video content audience, end quote, includes 665 million people, and it is growing. The company... just burped. Sorry. The company predicts a 21% viewer increase between now and 2021. According to Superdata, there's now a bigger audience for gaming video than the combined audiences of HBO, Netflix, ESPN, and Hulu. For reference, Netflix's subscriber count is somewhere near 100 million, while Hulu maintains about 12 million. For better or worse, PewDiePie alone has 54 million YouTube subscribers. It's not very shocking, they continue to say. I'm not going to go too far more down the rabbit hole. It just goes to show that a lot of people it goes to show the media that people want to consume now is in YouTube, and a lot of people really love watching people play games and play games well, and it kind of goes to show why esports is doing pretty bonkers. They're making a buku amount of money when it comes to the revenue they're pulling in.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember a few years ago, someone said, I don't know who it was or where I was, but someone was like, one day you're going to be able to watch, video games basically on TV. Now, obviously, it's
already happening with TBS. TBS starts showing, I think it's like Counter-Strike, I believe. Maybe it's League of Legends. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I remember kind of like being like, oh, yeah, whatever. And like, it's happening now.
Yeah.
I always knew that Twitch was popular, but like, I have to be honest, I didn't really anticipate this. And I'm one of those people too. Like, if there's a night where I'm not really doing much, like I don't really feel like playing video games, I will gladly watch someone else play and play way better than me.
I'm a fan of watching people play Hearthstone all the time because they know what they're doing. They have like the decks for it. They're pretty entertaining. They answer questions that people have. I don't watch them specifically on their Twitch stream because I like watching them on YouTube because they cut out the filler portions of it, like finding the games, changing the decks, and also the editors of the Twitch streamers are kind of funny with how they make the edits, and they sometimes make fun of the actual streamer, which is really cool. But yeah, it goes to show that you want to watch someone that does their quote-unquote job well, I guess.
Yeah, it's amazing. I watch Real Crafty play H1Z1, and
Real Crafty, come on the show.
I wish, but I watch him play all the time, and like even though that game's like just absurd and at times just dumb, like shots not connecting or him getting killed by people that are just teleporting, or for example, like one time he's fighting a guy gets out of his car, guy starts shooting him. All of a sudden, the guy just levitates off the ground and just rises into the air, disappears,
like Jesus,
kills him. And then he appears again. It was honestly hilarious and obviously frustrating at the same time. But yeah, I love watching people play video games. It's one of those things that, like my parents, for example, one time I let my Twitch on. Like I have Chromecast, so it was on my TV.
Nice.
My dad came in. He's like, "What is this on TV?" And I was like, "Don't worry about it."
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, like your parents would understand the situation, but yeah.
I do have to suggest though. I like Twitch streamers that you can genuinely see that they enjoy what they're playing. Because there's always, I know in like Hearthstone, there's certain streamers where you can tell they're just in it for kind of money. They're so depressed, like they're so upset. Like, why am I playing this? Oh, this is stupid, random RNG bullshit, all that. But I like watching the ones that are like still excited to play the game and still excited to find new decks to play, and they find enjoyment behind playing this game.
Well, first of all, too, it's like you are making money to play a video game. You should be goddamn happy. I would be thrilled. I mean, believe me, I understand how hard it is for some of these guys. I mean, there's people out there playing like video games for 12 plus hours at a time, and that's just crazy to me. But at the same time, you are making money to play video games. I feel like you should have a pretty positive attitude. And if you don't, well, you're probably not going to have many viewers anyway. So
it's just, I know, I guess doing anything for like a long period of time, especially playing the same game, can be a little demoralizing, but I've never been in this situation, so I don't know. This is me coming from an outsider, so I don't really know. But I just think maybe instead of looking at it as this is a job or you're playing the same game over and over, I think you're bringing enjoyment to people that watch it. So I would like. I mean, that's what I feel like would get if I was in this. That would get me out of bed to come do this. Is that I know people want to watch me. They enjoy watching me. Whether it's the troller that just wants to try to annoy me, they're still providing viewership, or it's the people that genuinely love watching me and play these games or like experience this game with me. You just have to understand that people do enjoy this, and they are there for you. So they are there to support you in whatever you do.
Yep.
But
couldn't agree more, sir.
That was interesting. I don't know how we got off on that, but we did. But now we're bringing it back. Now we're into this news story. I know you are excited about it because I am excited too about this news story that came out on Kotaku. Oh man, if you are at work right now listening to this, do not go to this article because it's not safe for work. And I did accidentally pull it up on work, and I was like, shit! But I wanted to bring it at. Mention it. Apparently, Patricia Hernandez over at Kotaku writes, a modder makes over $4,000 a month adding a lot of sex to Sims 4. You heard that right. She writes, in the world of Sims 4, life is a lighthearted cartoon. You can die of laughter and turn into a ghost. You can sleep with characters, but it's not sex. Instead, woohooing happens out of sight, all giggles and hearts. For some people, The Sims 4 doesn't go far enough in its portrayal of intimacy. And here's the not safe for work warning. A person who goes by the name of Turbo Driver has spent the last year working on an epic sex mod called Wicked Whims that adds dozens of erotic elements to The Sims 4. Official Sims expansion adds things like furniture and clothes. This very much unofficial mod adds specific sex acts like anal and smaller details like letting players decide where to come. The full feature list is a staggering menu of debauchery, hand jobs, foot jobs, oral, condom preferences, group sex, exhibitions, and procedural generated dicks, and a lot more. Given that the mod continues to update, the carnal revelry is quote, wicked whims, and quote, will keep growing. When characters in The Sims, quote-unquote, woohoo, their bodies are obscured in playful ways. Wicked Whims leaves nothing to the imagination, especially if you download its specialized animations. Character thrust, limbs bounce, and face contort in pleasure. Because this is The Sims, things can be pretty silly here. Oh, and then we got some GIFs, Gary. You liking these GIFs? This is... I
actually didn't even open up the website this time. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing for the first time.
This fucking third GIF. It's a ghost sim girl doing a backwards blowjob on the guy because she could go through. This is fucking ridiculous. I don't want to go more into this.
Can I just say why this guy's getting paid to do this, damn it? Why?
Not going to lie, this article gave me a good laugh during the day when I kind of needed it. But I really, really enjoyed reading it. So I highly suggest, if you're on your own free time, check it out. Make sure your parents or other coworkers or other friends or family aren't there because they'll be like, what the fuck are you playing? But Gary, continue with your rant.
No, seriously, why is this guy getting paid? Who is paying this guy, first of all? I want to know who the hell's doing it.
$4,000 a month. I'm guessing it's for like Patreon or something along those lines because people want this content. Shows you there's some creepy fucks out there that want this in their Sims.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't mean to label people, but like, I find this kind of shit like really sad and kind of disturbing. It's like you're taking time out of your day to do this in a Sims game or even a video game. Nonetheless, I mean, come on, man, come on.
I don't know if people know this, but there's this thing called porn.
It's I don't know. It's the interactivity, Adam. You're not getting that part. You see,
you're not getting into the Sims either.
You can choose what you want.
Oh, my bad. You can choose. I'm sure there's pick your adventure porns that go on.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm pretty certain there is. Not that I know from experience.
There's probably. This is terrible.
Oh, the debauchery! It got to us. I guess we'll move on. We'll get to like smooth article. Trying to calm the waters now after talking about sex mods in Sims 4. Sony is killing servers for 6 games, one of which is a PS4 game that's less than a year old. Sharif Saad over at VG247 writes, Sony has announced it's cutting server support for 6 games across PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. The games in question are relatively old and likely unpopular, but there's one game in particular that stands out. The only PS4 game on that list is Killstrain, a first-party isometric MOBA shooter that only came last July. The game is developed by Sony San Diego and was first revealed all the way back in 2014 during PSX. When it finally came out last year, it was released with little fanfare. It's doubtful that many people are still playing it or have even thought about it before reading this story. Still, it's disappointing to see it gets the axe. The additional games were High Velocity Bowling, Medieval Moves, Deadman's Quest, Sports Champions, and Sports Champions 2 are the 4 PS3 games shutting down, and Mod Nation's Racer Road Trip is the Vita's only contribution. So,
I was going to ask, were you a fan of Killstrain? Didn't you play that? I thought you did for some reason.
No, I played Paragon. That was the MOBA that I think Epic Games, or the guy from Epic Games developed. No, but I did include this because I had something to say. This game was kind of like in the same vein that Drawn to Death, or the same business model Drawn to Death was doing when it come to free-to-play games where it would then come out on beta or quote-unquote early access, and then all of a sudden they would have like a release date. But I mean, people would be like, wait, I thought it was already out. I thought this game was already out. And that's what I guess shows the confusion that people had when it came to this game, and there was no fanfare because Sony didn't make it a big deal. And if you don't make a game a big deal, like a first-party game specifically, why are other people... Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic. Why are other people going to care about your game? You know? It's the same thing with Drawn Death when it originally was like that. It was going to be a free-to-play game, which kind of shows, because they sort of changed it later on, kind of showed in that game. But they made a bigger deal by being PS Plus, and I think it's doing slightly better because people are enjoying it. So it's got, I guess, the mind share of some people. It got marketing out there. But it just goes to show you, if you don't care enough to promote these games, if you don't make it a big deal when this game is coming out, I don't think it's ever going to do well. I mean, yeah. I need to now pull up the next article. So, Gary, Phil, how
long is it going to take you to open up your damn article?
I've got it.
How
Gary,
slow is your computer?
You did a great job filling there. Just questioning my computer. PS4 Slim finally upgraded to 1 terabyte hard drive in North America. Samit Shakar over at Polygon writes, the Slim PS4 now features a 1 terabyte hard drive in North America, which means that the region is finally catching up with the rest of the world. The Slim PS4 sporting a 1 terabyte drive will be arriving, or quote, arriving on store shelves this month, end quote, Sony announced on Twitter. It will be selling for $299. Gary, does that excite you now? Even though you already have a PS4, so why would you go out and buy a 1 terabyte upgrade? But for people out there, that's pretty nice for people getting into the PS4. Now they can get a larger storage space, which I kind of need.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess it's about time that this finally came to North America. I mean, it's been long enough, but yeah, I mean, for me, it's utterly useless. For me, I think it's more, or for anybody that really owns a PlayStation 4 at this point, it's more cost effective now to basically just get a hard drive or that you can swap out internally, or even the external one as well. But yeah, for anybody that's looking forward to getting a PlayStation 4, I mean, it's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because 500 gigabytes was kind of a joke, to be honest.
It's so sad to say that now.
Yeah, it's really mind-blowing, actually.
I can't remember what it was. This bringing back memories to the original Xbox. It was mind-blowing to me back then that I didn't need a memory card to save things.
Yeah, yep.
That was nuts. I thought I needed a memory card from my PS2 days, and I was like, shit, I need a memory card! And then I fucking got it, and I didn't have one, and it said I could save it. I was like, whoa, what is the world we're living in? What is this future world?
And honestly, I don't remember anybody... I mean, this is just me personally, but I don't remember anyone really running out of space in the original Xbox. Like, I didn't even come close to hitting the end.
Because you never had to install the game after buying a disc.
That's true too. Yeah, that's the one thing with like PlayStation 4. Man, some of these games are ridiculously big. Like the Uncharted collection. Granted, it's a collection; it's 3 games, but I mean, that's like 70 gigabytes, and even The Witcher was 50.
When did they decide like, oh, if you buy a CD game, we're gonna just have to make you install some things instead of just running it straight from the CD? I know it's probably definitely slower. If you go straight from the CD, but I never really recognized the shift until we got to next gen.
Yeah.
Or current gen now.
Yeah, I don't remember ever doing, I don't think we ever did it. Was PlayStation 3, did they have some games that installed in the console? I can't remember if that actually happened or if that was a thing.
I don't remember that happening. It didn't happen for the 360.
Yeah.
But I know you could install the game and it would definitely run smoother. But we shall move on to this quick article. Dark Souls publisher reveals its new game. It is a vampire RPG, Chris Pereira says over at GameSpot. Ahead of schedule, the recently teased game from Bandai Namco has been revealed as Code Vein, an RPG where you play as a vampire. Woo! Code Vein is described as a, quote, dungeon exploration type hard action RPG, end quote, in the latest issue of Japanese publication Famitsu, there it is. It's in development by the same team responsible for the God Eater series. Set in a post-apocalyptic near future, players assume the role of a revenant. These are superpowered vampires who have lost most of their memories and now live as part of a society called Vein. Revenant need blood in order to avoid turning into something called a Lost. Through the buddy system, you can take an AI-controlled companion with you as you explore and engage in combat with a variety of swords and other melee weapons. The full game is apparently still a ways off, with Famitsu reporting it's only 30% complete at this point and is not due until 2018. It's on Unreal Engine 4, but does not yet have confirmed platforms. I wanted to point this out because it kind of... I've never played God Eater, but I'm getting vibes that this game is going to be kind of like Soul Sacrifice for the Vita. What's the fucking name of the fucking game? Freedom Wars from also on the Vita, and like a Monster Hunter type game. I feel like, I don't know why, but I just kind of have that feeling that it's going to be you going around with like a buddy trying to take you down like these crazy lost monsters or whatever they're going to be. You being a vampire, you can magically turn into like a robot vampire, it looks like, from everything I've been seeing about this game. I just kind of wanted to bring it up. I was kind of interested, and if it turns out to be that type of game, I'm kind of interested in those games. I really like the grind of those games. So if it comes to the Switch, if I ended up getting one, it would be a nice game to have. Just saying. Gary, I know that you hate that, but yeah.
Hey, look. You know, guys, I'll tell you right now, you're actually going to hear in the next episode why I'm actually not that much of a Nintendo hater. So I'm not even going to say anything.
Yeah, we already recorded Tuesday episode. We're getting crazy here. Yeah. We're getting crazy with our schedule here. It's nuts.
Yeah, our schedule is jam packed. I barely have time to even go outside anymore.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Don't go too nuts, Gary. Moving on. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this. Over at Eurogamer, Tom Phillip writes, Nintendo has plans to launch an SNES Mini this year. Nintendo will follow up its smash hit NES microconsole with a mini version of the SNES. Sources close to the company have confirmed to Eurogamer. The SNES Mini, or to continue Nintendo's official branding, likely the Nintendo Classic Mini and Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Oh, Jesus, that's a mouthful. It is currently scheduled to launch in time for Christmas this year. Development of the device is already underway, our sources have indicated. Nintendo's plans for the SNES Mini are also a major reason why last year's NES Mini did not see a reprieve from discontinuation. Eurogamer understands despite the latter's continued popularity and sellout status. Last week, Nintendo explained that it never intended the NES Mini to be a permanent product. From the company's perspective, the microconsole was planned as a cool novelty item perfect for Christmas 2016, and the numbers in which it manufactured and shipped were expected to be enough to suit this goal. But the NES Mini ended up breaking out to become more popular than anticipated and quickly sold out, leading to a bustling resale market on eBay. The NES Mini shipments continued into the early part of this year, but its production's run could not be extended further, as the SNES Mini was slated for production instead. Hopefully, more stock of the SNES Mini will be made available to avoid a repeat of the same shortages.
Yeah.
The reality of the SNES Mini is certainly exciting. While the NES was unique for being Nintendo's first home console, the SNES arguably boasts the better software lineup and a catalog of classics far more advanced from the NES forebears. Compare The Legend of Zelda on NES to A Link to the Past, for example, or Donkey Kong to Donkey Kong Country. Other top SNES games from Nintendo include Super Metroid, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World, as well as Earthbound, Star Fox, Super Mario RPG, Legend of Seven Stars. The console also had some of the best RPGs, including Square's Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana. So, for the SNES Mini, Nintendo is expected to stick with the NES Mini's plug-and-play setup and its array of games which come pre-installed and ready to play. That's exciting, Gary. I am really pumped. I know the NES Mini kind of got me somewhat excited, but I guess I don't want to say the games were limited back then, but it wasn't quite what I wanted. I kind of love the pixel art that the SNES brought to the system, like Chrono Trigger. I remember playing that for the Vita. Didn't quite get through all of it just because the load times, because it was going off of a PS1 version of it, was rather slow. Which was kind of really frustrating every time I tried to pause. It just drove me nuts. But the SNES version runs a lot better. There's so many games for the SNES that are in like my wall of shame that I have never played, and I'm really pumped to get this. This I want so much.
Yeah, I'm actually right there with you. There's a lot of games on this particular console that I never had the opportunity to play because I never owned a Nintendo back in the day. I had a Game Boy, but I never actually had the console. I want to be able to buy this damn thing.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope I can buy it on Amazon. I hope they have enough. I hope it's not one of these things like before where you're waiting for it and it just never arrives and eventually they discontinue it. But one thing that I was hoping, I was looking on, I know you have a little article here you might mention about the games that people are asking for. One of the games that I saw out there that someone was asking for was NHL 94. Mm-hmm. And being a big hockey fan, NHL 94 was regarded as like one of the best EA Sports hockey games ever made. So I'm really hoping I get a chance to play this. I hope they put it on the SNES Mini so I can actually experience it for myself.
And I saw something on Twitter where somebody was pretty, I don't want to say negative, but they were pessimistic when it came to the Square Enix games coming to it, because a lot of the SNES was built on Square RPGs like Chrono Trigger, ActRaiser. I think ActRaiser was Square. Secret of Mana. A lot of third-party support. And I responded to them is that I felt like they for the NES Classic or Classic Edition, they did bring in Final Fantasy, but he did come back saying that the copyright or something, that it's like easier to get Final Fantasy than the other Final Fantasies, like Final Fantasy VI, which is considered by a lot of people like one of the best Final Fantasies out there. So I don't know. I don't want to say I trust Nintendo, because I know that I've been burned with some things when it came to Nintendo and like their ability to reach out to third-party support. But, I mean, if they're planning on releasing an SNES Mini, I feel like they would do everything in their power to get the most notable games, especially games from Square. I mean, that just makes sense. I mean, I feel like people would be outraged if those games weren't on there.
Yeah, I mean, like personally, the games I'm really looking forward to playing
aren't
would
those?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, games I'm really familiar with that I have like ties to from my childhood are obviously Super Mario and even Kirby's Dream Land. I'm seeing a lot of people asking for Kirby's Dream Land 3. I guess that was a big favorite. I played the first, the original, and the second one on Game Boy, and I really enjoyed those games. So I really want to play these again, and also for the first time in a lot of cases with the other games that are also going to be on here.
Hey, if we get big by the time this comes out, we'll be making videos of us playing it. But that falls on all you beautiful listeners out there who support us. And if you support us, please go rate us. But we're still not done with the episode. I just wanted to throw that out there. Moving on. The Nintendo Switch versus the PS4 Japanese sales comparison was put up on Kotaku. The article was written by Brian Ashcraft. But I mean, there's not really much to say to the article. It just goes through and shows the first 7 weeks of the PS4 in Japan versus the Switch in Japan. It seems like right now the Switch is outselling the PS4 roughly, especially the first 7 weeks. It had an uptick, and it still seems like the Switch is selling, unit-wise, is selling pretty well. And I kind of attribute this to the fact that it seems like in Japan they are very into the mobile space over there. The PSP sold bonkers amount. The Vita unfortunately didn't, but you would always see people on their phone. I have secondhand opinions from people that went to Japan. A lot of people are on their phone playing mobile games, and I feel like the mobility of the Nintendo Switch adds a lot of value, especially in Japan where a lot of people are on the move, whether it's on the train or, I don't know the other ways to get around.
There's not a lot of people driving either, so it's kind of like a lot of walking and obviously public transportation. So there you go.
Yeah. Gary, does that make you so upset?
No, not really. Although I will say it's obviously early on, so I'm curious to see where the Switch is in sales by like week 15, because in this article it has obviously PS4 through 15 weeks of sales, and then Nintendo Switch is obviously 4 weeks. I'm interested to see where they are in their 15th week. See if their sales are still outselling the PS4 or if they come back down to earth. We'll see.
We shall see. And I mean, I know it probably sounds like a broken record, especially me when it comes to this. But again, we have to see if the Nintendo Switch has a long tail end to it. You don't want the same peak and then just like drop off that happened with the Wii U. We'll see if they have enough games to support the Nintendo Switch. Gary's nodding his head like, yes,
it's all going to come down to the games right now.
Yeah, I mean, I did tweet you something about, I think you would like that. It was like a picture of somebody saying that like there was just Legend of Zelda and then nothing else.
Yep.
Which is kind of fascinating. I mean, Mario Kart comes out next week, but I mean, it is Nintendo. And I feel like people love when Nintendo does something relatively right, which is with the Switch. They made like a legit console where it's not completely like a Fisher-Price toy, which I always say. It is like a legitimate piece of hardware where it looks cool. I feel like people just like wants to hop on that Nintendo D, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
I mean, it just seems like they're just... Everybody wants Nintendo to succeed. Like, I mean, so do I. I want Nintendo to do well because it, brings up the whole gaming industry when Nintendo is succeeding because they release amazing software. The hardware is wishy-washy at best. What we'll see with the Switch, it seems like people are really enjoying it. It's a pretty decent hybrid console. And you'll be hearing more about it next Tuesday because we had an interview with one of our fans, Kat Terry, and she has a Switch herself. She was giving us a first-person, viewpoint of the Switch and why she likes it so much, and Gary and her clash. Just kidding, they don't really clash.
Oh, yeah.
They just
Not
chat.
Really. We had a civil discussion.
They talk. They're nice. I tried to stay out of it, even though I probably didn't, because I like to butt in, because that's just me. But, Gary, that is it for episode 34, well, when it comes to the news articles. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nothing really, crazy, but, again, thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure being here, as always. And I look forward to you guys actually getting a chance to listen to our Nintendo discussion, as Adam just mentioned. It was a good time talking to Kat, and basically any of our fans, really. I know Adam, you had a chance to talk to Ivan earlier this week, and it's just a lot of fun. So, hopefully in the future we'll get to talk to a lot more of you guys out there.
We're trying.
Yeah. So, if you want to, just tweet us.
Yeah. Speaking of Ivan, that episode, thanks to all of you beautiful listeners out there, got over 200 downloads, which is awesome, which is fantastic. Ivan getting his message out there, talking about the importance of video games when it comes to learning and education. Gary, I'm sure you listened to it, but I did mention your RuneScape example where they were learning languages through RuneScape. Ivan figured that, or Ivan mentioned that it was he's seen that with a lot of games, so it makes sense. Yep. But yeah, that was a great interview, so check it out, episode 33 and a half. But this has been Two Jersey Kids. Thank you so much for sticking with us. If you are a new listener and you made it this whole hour of us ranting and raving about things, we appreciate you so much for sticking it out. Please hit that subscribe button. I think we're worth it. And then go share us with your friends, because I think they will like us. Yay! We are a podcast you can bring home to your parents. Not really, because we curse a little bit, so maybe they won't like it. But, we appreciate you all so much. If you're a continued listener, we love you so freaking much. It's insane. Getting, the last episode, I think it was just perfect timing, but we got over 300 downloads, which was pretty fucking insane. We're pretty ecstatic about it. But yeah, please guys, this would really help us. If you have an Apple device, please go on iTunes and rate us. Give us 5 stars if you think we deserve it. Give us 4 stars if you think we deserve that. Provide us feedback. Let us know we can do better. It would really help us out with our standing and maybe try to grow the fan base, grow an audience, more people, more ears, and more people for you guys to talk to on a fan level, I guess you could say. But this has been a pleasure so far. I'm really enjoying this whole ride that we're going on. Gary, you have anything to say? I know I already asked you if you have anything to say, but you've been nodding your head and it seems like you have something to say. Seriously, I couldn't agree more. It's been a great time, and I don't think starting where we did start, back in August, I don't think we could have seen half of this stuff coming. So it's been a great time. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Damn right. Anyway,
that's
guys,
not Drake, is it?
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
Oh, look at that. Bring it all around.
But anyway, I will see you guys next Tuesday.
All right, guys. We will see you next Tuesday, like Gary said. It's a good conversation, but thank you all so much for being here. We love you all so much. Have a good one. Gary, say bye.
Peace out.
Bye, y'all. Peace!